Hi there. So it's day 30 of your reset. It's Tuesday. It's the second last day. And because I wanted to fit so much into this program and as well as keep it quite contained, there's a bonus email and video for you today. So keep your eye on your inbox for that. And just before we get into today's topic, which is all about dairy, because I know that a lot of you will be eager to reintroduce dairy back into your diet. But before we get into that, just in case you've found this video on YouTube and you don't know what I'm talking about, then please click the link in the video notes below and that will take you to the page on my website which explains everything about this 31-day detox and reset, which follows the Ancestral Health model, the Paleo Diet, the Primal Health model. Okay, let's get into it. So, cheese, milk, and ice cream. After the reset, are they okay? So, yes, so we're almost there. And yes, for many of us at this point, we're dreaming of all of the good things that we can eat once the challenge is over. And for many people, dairy products are high on the wish list. No one can deny it. Cheese and cream and ice cream are all delicious and wonderful. But be aware, because after a month without dairy, it'll be interesting to see how your body responds when you want to reintroduce it. So, we want to be really in tune with the signs and signals that we're receiving from our body. Dairy products occupy a grey space in the paleo diet. It depends a lot on the quality and the type of the product that's consumed and on our personal reactions. Dairy, it's a really personal thing. Along with other foods such as grains and the FODMAPs, we need to be aware that adverse reactions to dairy may not be immediately obvious. Some problems such as gut dysbiosis and leaky gut, they build up gradually. And so eliminating dairy from a period of time gives the body, which may have never known anything else, the opportunity to stabilize. And so once introduced, the consequences will be much more evident. And of course, this isn't just to do with dairy. This has got to do with sort of like all of the cereals and the grains and the legumes that we've eliminated over this last month. But common reactions to dairy products include excess mucus, the buildup of abdominal fat, acne, asthma, and seasonal allergies. The thing to remember here, so I've put this photo in here as a reminder, the thing to remember here is that cow's milk is food for calves. It's not sort of food for humans. It's food for baby cows. It provides the perfect blend of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, calcium, and hormones for the rapidly growing calf, as well as substances to stimulate and strengthen its immune system. So the big question is, are the biological and hormonal messages that are intended for a calf appropriate for a human being? An opinion is divided here. It seems that for those who are dairy tolerant, some products can be a really good source of saturated fat and protein. The conjugated linoleic acid, which is found in milk fat, has been shown to have anti-cancer properties. But the protein and carbohydrate structures found in dairy products cause immune system reactions, insulin spikes, gastrointestinal problems, and can contribute to neurological disorders and cancer, right? So you can see how it's really divided here. It sort of depends on which study you're looking at and particular personal responses. We'll have a look at the makeup, what actually constitutes milk, milk proteins and carbohydrates and dairy. So the carbohydrate that's present in dairy products is known as lactose. And the milk proteins are casein, which comprises about 80%, and whey, which is about 20%. Now, casein is the primary protein in dairy products. It's also the primary protein in human milk. And when digested by the calf, it provides the amino acids that build muscles and connective tissues and skin and hair and hormones and enzymes and bones and teeth. Yeah, casein shares structural similarities with gluten, and thus it impacts upon leaky gut. But we don't know if dairy is causing the problem or if it just gets in and wreaks havoc after the gut lining is already damaged. For the calf, Casein is also important because it releases protein structures that act as physiological messages from the mother cow to the calf. And these physiological messages bind to opioid receptors, which strengthen the bond between the mother and her young, and thus improves the feeding behavior. Now, due to the morphine-like and opioid effect, they slow down the movement of food through the intestine. Now, remember that unlike humans, cows have 4 stomachs as well as a very different gut biome. Okay, so these proteins, they cannot cross the healthy, intact intestinal lining of an adult human. But in the common situation of leaky gut, these hormones of another species could enter. And what if they do? Right? Now, the science on this is still young, right? So we look at all of this with a big question mark. However, regardless of the gut state, casein in susceptible individuals will cause the immune system to respond with histamines. And symptoms of casein intolerance include headaches, excess mucus, gastrointestinal disorders, asthma, and seasonal allergies. Now, the other protein component, whey is made up of proteins and hormones which include insulin, estrogen, and the growth hormone IGF-1. Now, this growth hormone, IGF-1, is similar to insulin. It's associated with various forms of cancer, including breast cancer, colon cancer, and prostate cancer. Now, it's not a determining factor, but it appears that for high-risk individuals, it could be an indirect facilitator because it increases cell growth without discriminating whether the cells are healthy or abnormal. Okay, I'm going to repeat that, right? So this IGF hormone, right, it's associated with various forms of cancer, including breast, colon, and prostate. It's not a determining factor, but it appears that for high-risk individuals, it could be an indirect facilitator because, this is the important bit, it increases cell growth without discriminating whether the cells are healthy or abnormal. Okay, so be aware of this. Now, lactose is the carbohydrate found in dairy products. It's the O's, yeah. It's glucose and lactose and sucrose, yeah. All of these O's are the carbohydrates. So lactose is the carbohydrate found in dairy products. It's generally well tolerated by babies, by infants, because babies produce high levels of the enzymes that are necessary to digest it. But from the weaning age through to about 4 years old, the production of these enzymes for most of the human population gradually decreases, resulting in lactose intolerance. Okay, for most of the human population, it gradually decreases, yeah, from weaning through to about 4 years old. So what that means is that most humans on the planet after 4 years old are lactose intolerant. Now, symptoms of lactose intolerance include gastrointestinal upset, diarrhea, cramps, and bloating. And even for people who seem to tolerate it, lactose can contribute to gut dysbiosis. Okay, so all of that aside, lactose and dairy, has a problem for everyone on the planet because it's insulinogenic, okay? This is for everyone, regardless of whether you're intolerant or not. The big problem with dairy for everyone, tolerant or intolerant, is that lactose is insulinogenic, and consuming lactose in combination with whey causes the release of large amounts of insulin, right? Now, this is important and appropriate for infant mammals in an aggressive stage of growth. But when we're not tripling our body weight every week or so, those large insulin doses aren't necessary. Yeah, we've seen right from the beginning of this course that that high insulin is just simply not good for us. High insulin production isn't good for us. So when dairy products are sweetened, as in flavored yogurt and ice cream and things like that, we're just receiving a double whammy of insulin, not good for us. Okay, so if I can tolerate dairy, which kinds of dairy are best? All right, so even if you can tolerate dairy, if you've got that enzyme and you can tolerate it, unfortunately, nobody advises you to eat large amounts of flavored yogurt and ice cream and wonderful cheeses just because you like them. It's sad, but it's true. If dairy products are to be consumed, it's best to eat them in moderation, consume them in moderation, and it's best to source them from grazing, organically raised cattle, and by whole fat, unpasteurized products whenever possible, right? Whole fat is really important. Milk from pastured cattle and organically raised cattle contain higher percentages of healthy fats, a healthy ratio of your essential fatty acids, higher levels of antioxidants, vitamin A and vitamin E. Dairy products that come from non-pasture raised, non-organic cattle are less nutritious and contain traces of antibiotics and hormones and pesticides and anything else that the animal has consumed. So low-fat and partially skimmed dairy products are to be avoided because they raise insulin levels without providing nutrients. This is even more pronounced in sugar products and those that have added fruit and just, and added carbohydrates. We recommend clarified butter because clarified butter removes the process of clarification removes the lactose, but all of the good healthy fats remain. And whole fat and plain yogurt can be consumed in moderation, even for those who are lactose intolerant, because the fermentation process eliminates the lactose. Okay, so the dairy products to eliminate are low-fat and partially skimmed dairy products, right? Get rid of all of those. Your sweetened dairy products such as yogurt and ice cream, your conventional milk products that have been raised with GMOs and hormonal agents and, pesticides and antibiotics and allergens and immunosuppressants. Yeah, get rid of all of those. And of course, your industrialized dairy products and industrialized cheeses. Okay, so if you are lactose tolerant, choose your dairy products wisely, and if you are going to try and reintroduce them after the reset, be very aware of your physical responses. Get in tune with your body, be very observant as to what's happening, and remember that some of the symptoms and negative reactions are accumulative. You may not notice them on the first day, but they may accumulate over time. Okay, so be wise with your choices. Now, in the eat section, there is a wonderful substitution instead of dairy ice cream, which is to make your own ice cream at home using coconut milk and fresh fruit and honey. It's not hard to make. All you need is an ice cream machine. We make this regularly, especially in springtime and summer, of course, using fresh fruit. And it is fantastic, full of healthy fats and full of all those lovely antioxidants and nutrients. Do read through this. The important thing about making ice cream at home is to get the emulsion happening, because we're not using emulsions such as egg lecithin, things like that. And so you want to really blend it in a high-speed blender before adding it to your ice cream machine. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for today. Your movement recommendation for today is to do a round of the Primal Essential movements or the 7-minute workout. And your motivation today is one of my favorites. Wouldn't it be lovely if? So just project a little bit of a bit forward into the future and just put it out to the universe. Wouldn't it be lovely if this happened? Wouldn't it be lovely if that happened? And create a little magic in your life today. Okay, I'll see you later for the bonus email and video, and see you then. Okay, ciao.